Well, hello everyone. This is David Michael Ross coming to you again for Design Thinking. Just wanted to go over a couple things for this week's assignment. We're looking at insight statements, how we might, and frameworks as far as design challenge we have to define this week. So let's get started. What I want to do first of all is go over the actual design challenge itself. The way I want to give you a preview of the design challenge is this. It's a way in which you create a much more productive interviewing experience with our students and to increase in career and job prospects for graduating college students. So what we're doing is we're trying to find a way in which we can make sure that students have a much more conducive interviewing and productive experience, and give them a way in which they have a pathway to realize, their expectations as far as when you put an application in, that you have a good chance of getting a job. That's what it comes down to. So our insight statement for this week, and it's based on our themes here. We have three themes here. The first one is called connections. In that, we're looking at the insights for a student who wants a reliable way to talk to the right person at the right company. Obviously, that's very important. The next thing you want to know is that students prefer to talk with people who are allies and can help them get orientated to the company. That's what we find over and over again when we talk to basically hundreds of students now over the past couple of years, and recently with the seminar I gave. They really want to find somebody that's an ally to them somehow, some way. And then the next thing they're looking at is that graduates want to identify and grow their base of reliable career connections. So a lot of students, especially in the last workshop that we had, they were asking specifically, a better way than maybe go to, the job search sites to find reliable career connections, and so that these career connections would be able to know them, get to know them, and find out more about them before they actually apply for the particular job. Another insight statement. The theme is for alumni and networking with students. So with that, the insight here comes up in alumni really would like to, we've talked to a lot of different alumni, and they really would like to support each new graduate in the job search. The only thing is, with that, alumni don't know how to reach out to or who to refer to hiring managers. So they're kind of in a quandary. They want to help graduate students as far as helping them get acclimated and up to speed in the job search, but they really don't know who, as far as to reach out to as far as students, and they're having a hard time recommending to hiring managers because they don't have a pool of students that they can actually talk to. The last thing is alumni would be definitely willing. This is the main thing that we keep seeing. They'd be willing to recommend candidates if they were able to meet them in advance. So that's kind of a chicken egg thing. It's alumni would be willing to recommend people, but they don't have anybody to recommend because no one's actually approached them. So that's back to our design challenge. We need to find a way in which we can, bridge that gap. The third is our search process itself. We found was broken. So with that, the search process, the job search process, as we found through research, in our primary research, talking with people, and getting data as far as on the job search in general. The job search process is actually broken, and with that, there's a huge disconnect between graduates and hiring managers in the interviewing job process. What that means is that students, don't realize until you educate them to this, or they become aware of this through some kind of process, that their resumes that they put up online, and this is the big idea here, that when you put your resume up online, that you're going in with other candidates who put their resumes up online, and the companies and their hiring managers actually have a ATS applicant tracking system, which actually knocks out over 90% or disqualifies, let's just say 90% of the resumes. So actually, what the process here is, where it's broken, is that 90% of the resumes never get seen. So that's a big problem, and that's one of the things we kept seeing. So we went to how we might approach this, where students really want just a reliable way to pursue a job search. Our approach is we're trying to see if maybe we can put together a proactive way to successfully teach students to learn how to conduct a job search. Another insight is graduate students don't know how to connect with alumni. So with that, we want to see how we might approach and design a method that increases the possibility of graduates and alumni connecting in advance of the interview process. So this is something like a pre-interview process. That's kind of leading to something that could possibly help, you know. And then last, how we might is the graduates' resumes are screened by ATS applicant tracking system, but they never reach the hiring manager. And we're trying to say, well, how would we approach that? So the approach could be design a workaround to this hiring process to ensure students might get to the right hiring manager. And lastly, we're just going to focus on a very brief framework, you know, for this particular segment here. And we chose a journey map, and our journey map runs along this line. It's a customer journey map, and it's fairly straightforward according to the previous categories we were talking about. Step one is a graduating student sends in a resume online, on the phone, generally on LinkedIn or the job boards, Indeed.com, and they fill out the position. Number two, the graduating student's resume is seen or screened, I should say, by the ATS applicant tracking system. So this is a computer against. So if you send anything by a computer, they have a tracking system for a computer, and 90% of those basically are rejected for whatever reason, not enough qualifications, typos. Other people more qualified, but for whatever reason, these applicant tracking systems basically are screening out. That's why the job process we're seeing is broken. And what we want to do is come up with some kind of design process where we can approach that and try to solve for that for our graduating students. Last thing is hiring managers then only see 10% of the actual candidates that are graduating because of this hiring process, rejecting 90%. And the other 10% actually go to the top. So if you had 100 resumes, only 10 people actually get to even get across to the hiring manager's desk. You can understand this in a way because if you have 100 applications coming for one position, you have to find a way to screen through that. So that's, you know, that's the process, and we have to give graduating students a way in which they can learn how to circumvent or navigate around this particular process. So with that, we're going to see you next week when we go on to our next one. I think it's brainstorming. So with that, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.